What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD Mobile video. So I decided to, I guess, somewhat bring back the old blueprint review type of format. I don't know if you guys remember that, but back in the day before I left to the army, I would always review legendary skins, epic skins, and even mythic skins. I haven't really done that in a long time. I do plan to bring it back. I'm not sure if I'm still going to number them, but yeah, the main reason for that is mainly because with the new computer, I don't really have all the old files and the old templates, so I might just make reviews on them, but not really in any particular order anymore. So the skins that I'm going to be reviewing in the upcoming videos mainly pertain to the secret cache skins that were released for season 1. So the secret cache event is a relatively new event that we have where we could unlock shards for legendary skins and even mythic skins as we progress through the game. So basically every match or every type of challenge that you do, you earn challenge coins to go through the tiers to get more secret cache boxes, thus giving you a lot more shards for those specific variants. Alternatively, you could also buy the amount of shards that you want. You don't have to buy the entire amount of shards, but you could buy a certain amount if you want to get ahead of everyone. Or you could just flat out just buy the entire gun skin. It's possible to do that as well. The amount of shard requirements do vary. For legendary skins, it's typically going to be 200 shards to unlock the legendary skin that you want. But for the mythic skins, it's a little bit more lengthy, meaning that you have to get 500 instead of 200, which is, by design, supposed to take place within a span of multiple seasons. From what I understand, the secret cache mythics are supposed to last about a year, so you have more than enough time to actually earn the skin. And it's not really that hard to do so, it just takes a very long time. Be forewarned though, once you do actually unlock this mythic skin, it does come at its base level. So leveling it up to level 3 or the max level, that's entirely up to you. So before I finally get into the review for the Lava Remix, I do want to discuss the reason as to why I decided to actually purchase this instead of grinding it out like everyone else. So, I mean, not everyone else. There's people that have actually already unlocked the skin. Actually, day 1, that's probably in one of my first matches I saw that. As for the reason why I did it was because I wanted more odds for the Power Nova crates, which was a big mistake on my end because I wasn't really aware about the odds of it. You know, you almost don't get them. Even if you complete everything, you don't really get that many Power Nova crates. You could have double cash events during the weekends. Won't even matter. So that is a mistake that I am not going to make again. I think I'm just going to grind out things just normally next time around. Unless they increase the odds. But again, I don't really know. But yes, I basically bought this so you don't have to. Of course, when it comes to a learning experience, someone has got to take the fall in order for everyone else to learn from that person's mistakes. So this is basically a I bought this skin so you won't have to type of video. Now let's get to the actual review. Let's actually talk about the history and the stuff preceding to it first. So as you guys know, the AK117 Lava Remix is actually the second mythic for the AK117 to receive. That, of course, did not sit well with a lot of people, given that the AK117 already does have a mythic, which it got about maybe about a year or two ago. And people are not really that, I guess, happy about that, given that there's plenty of other weapons that haven't received mythics, and people would have preferred something like, I don't know, the DRH, maybe something like the RUS, you know, it doesn't matter. But the point is that they didn't like the fact that this gun now has 2 mythics. What also didn't sit well with people was the fact that this was not a original skin. So if you guys know, in Call of Duty Online, before it got shut down, this skin was actually available in that game. For the same gun. And of course, when it comes to any recycled skin or any skin that gets remade, a lot of people are not really gonna be happy about that, given that it's not technically new content. Like, yeah, it'll be new content for this game, but it's not original. And I understand that, but for me personally, the way I look at it is that if I didn't own the skin prior, I mean, I really don't mind getting it. Not only that, the AK117 was kind of lingering for a little bit. We kind of knew that this was going to be released at some point because there was a lot of game files of this for a while, for about maybe 1 to 2 seasons prior to season 1, but it just never got released because we were getting mythics for like stuff like the USS 9 and even the XM4. So we were kind of wondering when they were going to release this, because if they're just making new ones every other season, this gun obviously is not going to have a chance to shine unless they release like 2 mythics in back-to-back seasons. So they threw us a pretty beneficial curveball saying that we could unlock this through grinding, and a lot of us finally got to see how this skin was going to look like. And keep in mind, it's a grindable mythic skin, so I don't expect it to be groundbreaking like maybe the USS9 or something like that. I was expecting this skin to be kind of minimal with its effects. They did their best to keep the original design from Call of Duty Online. And given that they kind of have to fit it into a game where we are very comfortable with having, digital iron sights, they kind of had to compensate for that a little bit. And I think they did a pretty good job. I wasn't expecting them to, again, make something groundbreaking, but they did a good job nonetheless with the design. In terms of its effects, it's not, the craziest thing on the planet, but it's something nonetheless. And keep in mind, I'm on very high graphics, so what you're seeing right now is basically, like, I guess at its best. Of course, one of the features that draws people to Mythics the most is, of course, the iron sight. So this is something that does need to be discussed because, well, let's be honest, I mean, in terms of iron sights, I think Call of Duty Mobile seems to be kind of slipping with it because, in these recent Mythics, they've been releasing iron sights that really don't make too much of a difference. And unfortunately, with the Lava Remix, it's more or less the same. You can pretty much find yourself aiming just the same with any of these iron sights. But if I were to rank them, I would say probably the first or the final level one are probably the 2 best ones. I would say level 3 kind of sucks, but yeah, that's just my opinion. My personal take is I usually just stick to the base one, at least when it comes to this skin, because I don't know, like the way that the gun looks in its later levels, just, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me, or like the gun feels a little bit more awkward if I don't use it with just the level 1 design. I don't know, I'm weird like that. There is another reason why I do prefer the level 1 over the level 3 and the level 5 design, and that's mainly because of the camo coverage. So if you do have the level 5 or the level 3 version, or if you do plan on getting it, be forewarned that the camo coverage isn't really going to be great with those, given those like extra little red objects that are kind of encasing the gun in those different phases. If you're a person like me that cares about camo coverage, I do recommend just staying on the level 1 design, and it's the least obstructive. Camo coverage is at its best with all different types of camos. You could see it just basically throughout the entire gun. Of course, right now my favorite is the Borealis camo. I know a lot of people might prefer the Power Nova if they have it for that gun, or maybe even Red Sprite. Red Sprite also looks pretty good on this gun too, but in terms of like which is my favorite, it has to be the Borealis. So when a Mythic does come out, there are going to be some features about it that may draw people away, that might have them think, well, hey, I don't really want to buy this Mythic skin because of this one reason. And the AK117 Lava Remix is really no exception, and I'll tell you why. So besides the, like, I guess the more poor design on the later, I guess, Mythic Shroud levels of this gun, another issue is the death effect. Don't get me wrong, I like the death effect. It's cool. It's not really the craziest thing on the planet, but it is cool nonetheless. But there is one massive issue, and I would actually say it's a downside, is the fact that it is extremely loud. And I'm referring to the death effect if you have the one that actually evolves as you're killing more people. The initial death effect isn't really that loud. The one that comes with the gun is okay. But if you do have the upgraded death effect, it's a bit of an issue because every time you get a kill, basically the entire map is going to hear it. And that's not really like a bad thing in a competitive standpoint. I mean, I don't really care if the enemy hears the death effect, but it's annoying. That's really the best way I could put it. For all of you OGs that have played this game since day one, I'm pretty sure you guys remember the FR556 Super Highway's original death effect. You guys pretty much could remember how like loud and obnoxious that one is. This one is more or less the same, but I would say that this is a little bit more annoying. Is it a deal breaker? Obviously not. I know some of you guys are planning to probably upgrade the thing to the max, and I mean that's totally up to you. But for me, I usually just stick with the first death effect. I don't really use the upgraded one because of that issue. I almost forgot to mention the second downside that this death effect does have, and it's the fact that it is extremely obstructing, meaning that it's going to get in your way a lot, especially if you kill someone and there's another person behind it, and you're not going to see that person until the death effect goes away, and by that point in time, it's probably already too late for you. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys that have legendary skins have had this sort of effect before, where you end up dying because you couldn't see someone that was past a death effect that you were using. So yeah, I would say of all features of this mythic, I would say the death effect is probably the biggest problem with it. But of course, it's not the end of the world, and there is possibilities that COD Mobile will probably fix these issues if they do get enough reports about it, which I'm sure they already have. But of course, time will tell when that'll actually happen. Maybe they'll make an announcement about it later on, or maybe they'll just do it without telling us, and it'll have to take one of us to actually notice it. I've already made promises to adjust certain mythics such as the XM4 for looking a little bit too underwhelming, as well as the Peacekeeper later on in the future. So I wouldn't put it past them, you know, when it comes to fixing it. And keep in mind, the FR556 Superhighway, like I said, it used to be annoying, but then they made an update and they made it a lot more brief, a lot less annoying. And yeah, it's probably one of my favorite legendaries ever in this game. I'm aware that most of you guys are still grinding for it, and you guys will probably continue to grind for it until like maybe the 6-month mark, or whenever whenever you guys do finish it. So they have all this time to adjust the skin if they need to. And given that the devs are starting to make a lot more user-friendly features, and you know, they're actually kind of changing their ways a lot more than before, I will give them the benefit of the doubt, and I think they will actually go through with that. So at the end of the day, the AK117 Lava Remix is a mythic skin for the first time ever that is able to be grinded for anyone that doesn't want to pay a dime. And I think that's an amazing feature that they added to this game, and I'm happy that they are doing it. I don't care if the skin is from COD Online, so long as I've not owned it prior, I don't really care about getting it or unlocking it, whichever the case may be. But having this gun in the game shows us that the devs are at least trying to please the user base. 2 years ago, we probably would never have thought this was going to be a thing anytime in the near future at that time. But here we are, 5 years later, and now we have a system like this, not only for mythic skins, but legendary skins and really good looking camos. So I'm happy with this new change to the game, and I'm hoping that it stays like this for years to come. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content, and I'll see you guys next time.